All right, welcome to round 2 of this Saheeli Evolution League. See if I can get this out of my face. Everything always being resized on good old Magic Online. I guess we'll just deal with that for now. Okay, we are certainly going to be keeping this hand. It looks quite good. We have a Bird of Paradise into a couple 3-drops. If our bird dies, it will be particularly slow. We also do have our full combo and a reasonable amount of lands, so I'm pretty happy to keep this. Obviously, I'm incredibly low interaction, but we are pretty proactive with a hand like this, so I have really no need to thin here, so I'm happy just to postpone these decisions, basically, and play Basic Forest. Temple Garden Misty. Could be a mirror. You never know. So I need to get either a red source or a blue source if I want to cast Saheeli right here, which I think I very much do. It's most likely a Knightfall style deck. Which means the only thing I really have to fear is like Spell Queller. I think I'm going to get Stomping Ground here. It really doesn't matter. Stomping Ground, Breeding Pool, it's basically the same. It's more about what my opponent will think than anything else. If I wish, I could minus this bird to play an Oath of Nissa. I'm not going to do that. I'd rather get my Scry, and I have no real need to rush into this Oath of Nissa. But it's good to keep in mind minusing your bird. That can come up quite a lot. So do I want to play around Path? I think not. I think I just have so much going for me that I have no real interest in playing around Path. I think what my optimal turn would look like here would be minus on bird, cast Oath of Nissa, reevaluate, then cast Felidar Guardian. This might beta Path if my opponent has one as well. So let's start here. Probably doesn't beta Path, but it might. I didn't play a land yet. I'm showing that I need the mana. It's possible this baits Path. My opponent's certainly in the tank about it, so like I said, I do imagine they have Path. Maybe it is worth me playing around here. I do have 5 mana otherwise. I can go like Kitchen Finks, Wall of Omens. I mean, that's still pretty good for me. And then the Kitchen Finks will very likely beta Path. So if they don't kill this, I'll probably do that, to be honest. Okay, they might just be psyching me out, which is totally reasonable and not at all unlikely, but I think that there's just such a high likelihood my opponent wouldn't keep a hand this low with no interaction. I think we just grab another Basic Forest here. I do want this thinning a little bit at this stage, although getting basics against a Path deck is probably not a great idea, so I'll just grab this. So I could have gone for it here and I didn't, which may bait my opponent to use a Path on this Kitchen Finks. On top of that, okay, they just did nothing. So it's possible they just had nothing and they got me to behave in a way that was not profitable for me, and maybe they'll just have a Spell Queller now, but we'll see. I certainly could have got, so to speak. But it looks like now they're just going to tap out for a night, and we're gonna get them. Could get a free Scry here first, but there's no real reason to slow roll here. Looks like we're going to, okay. Thought we might have had to iterate there. So it does appear that my opponent is a Knightfall deck. So, what do we want against Knightfall? It's possible that we want Path for sure. It's possible that we want something like Baloth, but my opponent does get there in the air quite a bit. I think Staticaster is going to be good for me. My opponent often has things like Selfless Spirit, as well as the same dorks I have, so it can be a little bit of a liability if I'm trying to target their birds and nobles, and I happen to have birds and nobles. But you can also hit 2/2s with use of Felidar Guardian. They might also be playing Lotus Cobra. We obviously didn't see very much of their list, but I think all that said, I'm going to bring in the Staticaster here. Gaddock Teeg is an interesting one. I believe they would only be playing Company, not Chord. They don't usually play something like Chord. So Gaddock Teeg would really only stop Company. It really doesn't hurt me, though. I'm likely going to want to side out my evolutions here. They match up very poorly against Spell Queller and just counter spells in general. So we're likely not going to be about that. Linvala can be good here just as a thing to annoy Knight of the Reliquary, which I think is important since they do have a Knight of the Reliquary based combo with Knight and Retreat. Magus is not really worth it here. Both of us can kind of play around it, and also it hurts me basically just as much as it hurts them. So what am I considering right now? We're considering Teeg and Baloth. Reclamation Sage is also okay since it deals with Retreat. It might be nice to have a way in there to deal with that. You could also make an argument that I need the counter spells to stop their combo, but something like Unified Will is very hard to make work in this matchup, and especially on the draw. It's incredibly difficult to have a Unified Will be good on the draw in a matchup where we both have dorks. You could make some kind of argument for Rest in Peace just against Knight of the Reliquary, but again, it hurts me far, far too much, so it's not even close to worth it, I think. So we'll put in the Sage and probably Baloth. Probably Baloth and Teeg, just because I can afford it. I don't think there's really a big reason to side out Sun Titan here. I could shave on Rallier, but this is exactly the kind of matchup where it's just fair most of the time. I mean, both of us have a combo. I'm a little more likely to hit my incidental combo than they are just because I have more copies, but... It's a tough card to decide at the last card. I guess I'm leaning towards the Renegade Rallier here. Like I said, I don't really want to take out the Thragtusk and the Sun Titan. I don't feel like this matchup is exactly blazing fast. Run out of time here, so we're just gonna bin a Rallier for now. All right. So I assume, of course, they will be on the play. All right. Our hand is a little clunky. This is a point where this hand makes Scattered Groves look a lot worse than Horizon Canopy, right? This is the kind of hand where I'm not very happy to see a Scattered Groves because I really want to cast Oath of Nis on turn 1 and hope to find something like a 2-drop. I guess I kind of need a third lane anyway, and definitely need a fetch lane if I want to make this work. We can justify keeping a slow hand, I think, because we have Path and the combo. So I'm going to keep it again. You see me keep a couple slow hands so far, but I think they've been justifiable. All right, so that's a good draw. Makes me feel a lot better about just Oath this turn. This Horizon, or the Scattered Groves is certainly going to be clunkier than a Canopy this game, though. Okay, Staticaster, Saheeli Rai, Windswept Heath. So Staticaster is going to be very difficult to cast, but I can use the Windswept Heath to find one half of it and then Renegade Rallier into the other half. I could also just take an additional Saheeli Rai, or I could just take the Windswept Heath. I think I don't really need the Windswept Heath. Excuse me. Goodness. All right, so yeah, I think I don't really need the Heath. I'm probably going to play this tap next turn, hold up Path or use Path, and then be looking to play one of my 3-drops the next turn. So yeah, we'll take Staticaster here. Kind of awkward for our opponent to know about it, but it'd be worse to show them Saheeli Rai when I already have one, and then they would have a little more information than I'd want them to at that stage, I suppose. If this is something like a Lotus Cobra, I'll likely path it in their upkeep. If it's a Voice, I might just leave it alone. If it's a Scavenging Ooze, I'll probably leave it alone. Selfless Spirit. Yeah, I'll definitely leave that. I'm surprised my opponent's willing to extend that when I just showed them a Bird of Paradise. I mean, and is it Staticaster? We just drew a Bird of Paradise. Melding thoughts there, unfortunately. All right. So, I can go like bird plus path here. Well, bird hold up path. I can go bird tap land. I guess I like bird tap land the best. I'm not very likely to need to path. So we'll play this here. So it might not end up being more awkward than Horizon can be after all. Our life total does matter in this matchup. I guess the issue with this, my bird dies, I can't Staticaster next turn. Alright, well, that seems good for me. I'm not going to play into Spell Queller. I could just go like Felidar into Blink Oath into Saheeli Hope to kill you, but I can't pass up Staticaster value. I just can't. You can't make me. So I'm going to fetch for either green or blue here. I think it's irrelevant based on how we've sideboarded. We didn't put any counter spells in. Yeah, it is irrelevant. So let's get. Or did I say green or blue? I apologize. I mean red or blue. We'll get a breeding pool here. And again, I could wait to cast this, but then it could get quellered. I do have path, so maybe that's fine. We'll just cast it now. Make my opponent sack one of their spirits on my turn. Yep. No surprise. Our opponent's not going to let us kill both their spirits, but hey, we'll get it eventually. Yeah, there's really no reason to respond with path here. I'm really not interested in pathing this when I have Staticaster in play. No. So much for my Staticaster hopes and dreams. Well, that's something I want to path. Neither Reliquary. Yep. We're still in a really good spot here, I think. Looks like I don't have a stop there either, which I'm reasonably used to. Let's put one there. All right. So my opponent does have Gavany mana now, which is kind of annoying. It might be time to Felidar here, since I can't like re-Staticaster. If I could re-Staticaster here, I would, to ensure that this actually died, but maybe we can find a land here. I'm tempted to like, no, I should have just taken the plains actually. Since Hallowed Fountain doesn't matter, I should have taken the plains. That way I could play plains and maybe my opponent would be afraid of path. I could have also really tried to sell it excuse me, by taking the Hallowed Fountain and shocking myself in passing, but I really don't think it's worth the 2 life here because we could easily get into an actual race. It doesn't activate yet here and just says go. So this feels like another company. So it could be company into Queller and I no longer have a path. So is there a way I can play around this? I guess this means I really want to Staticaster their Selfless Spirit again when they don't have Gavany up anymore. So maybe I'll just cast Wall of Omens here instead. Maybe this is taking it far too slow and giving my opponent too much time, but obviously I don't see why they wouldn't activate Gavany before I had the ability to cast Staticaster if they didn't have something to do. Voice is interesting. I wish I would have had that up front. Again, I don't want to put down the Staticaster. I want to take the opportunity to actually kill this. So we'll say go. I'm trying to think if there's a reason to Staticaster in response to this, and I think it only opens myself up to getting it maged, but maybe I actively want that because of the Felidar Guardian situation. I think I do not actively want that. This feels almost like my opponent has the combo and they're looking for another knight. Unfortunately, there's really nothing I can do about that, so I'm just going to be exposed to that if they're able to find a knight here. Sure. Fortunately, this is my turn. Oh no, I don't have a stop on my own end step like I would normally. Okay, good. I was worried it wouldn't give me priority because of that. Opponent goes to eat Selfless Spirit, sure. So this is as good as time as any. So this game is becoming a little bit more precarious. Kessig Wolf Run also adds to that level, I guess, of precariousness, so to speak. So they can Kessig for 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I block Scavenging Ooze and they Kessig for 4, I take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If I block Scavenging Ooze and they activate Gavity Township, which is much more likely, then I take 6. So what if I block Voice of Resurgence? Then do they Kessig instead of Gavany? I'm obviously not using my Felidar Guardian here. I'm pretty much at the point where now I just have to go for the combo. Although I'll get to play Voice first, which is huge because then if they act, I'll have an Elemental. So I think I actually block here, right? So then if they Kessig that, I take 2, 5, 7. If they Kessig this, I take 9. They could just eat Selfless Spirit. So we'll go with Voice up front. Our opponent didn't use either of their lands, which certainly indicates they have maybe even more companies. Okay, so that resolves. And then we'll go for this. We basically have to, so. Yeah, opponent does have a Spell Queller. We don't have a flyer, so that's just going to kill us in the air with Kessig. Really nothing I can do about that. I guess I could have played... No, couldn't have done that either. Yeah, not really much I could have done here. So it looks like we're going to a game 3. All right. I don't think there's anything I want to change once again. I mean, I didn't end up fitting... Wait. Yeah, I didn't end up fitting the Teague in there. Maybe I needed to get that Teague in there. I think Voice is great in this matchup. Ooze is fine. Maybe I side out and Ooze. Just for the Teague upgrade. I don't think Ooze is bad, though. I think it can be quite good, actually, against Knight as well. So, no, I really don't think I can do that. Maybe it's the Rex Sage that I just don't need. There's just a lot of times where this is going to do nothing, and I'm just kind of hedging against the enchantment, which they might not even have left in, although they probably did, but I can also have things like Linvala to hedge against that, and even Ooze sort of hedges against that, but not really enough, unless I've been, like, eating a lot of lands over the course of multiple turns, and then they finally land the enchantment. Then they wouldn't have enough to kill me anymore, but... Okay. This hand is very awkward. But we're on the play, so I might be able to get away with it. Especially with 2 Oaths. I might actually have to go Scattergroves tapped, and then try to go Oath next turn. The advantage of having a double Oath hand means that if I find a way to trigger a Renegade Rallier, we can go pretty crazy with it. And again, we have the combo, so I think I need to keep. But I have to decide whether I want to. I guess it's just better for me to Oath this turn rather than land tapped. Linvala's Sacred Foundry Thragtusk. Well, this feels like a Sacred Foundry spot. I would like to have these spells, but they're kind of expensive, and I don't have the lands required, so I think that's pretty easy, Sacred Foundry. Opponent does have a mana dork. We'll do this before fetching, in case we want to shuffle some stuff back in. Second Saheeli Evolution might actually be good. But Gaddock Teeg is just so nice. But the problem is, when am I really going to have an opportunity to play this Gaddock Teeg? I guess if my opponent slams like a knight next turn, I'm not really going to be comfortable playing Saheeli, am I? So, yeah, I guess we'll take the Teeg. And then to be super cautious, I'll play this here. To make sure we have untapped lands for the rest of the... up to 4, basically. I guess next turn I'm probably going to play this, play land tap, so it doesn't really matter. Opponent holds up Spell Queller. See if we can get a Teeg Spell Quellered. Looks like the answer is yes. Which probably means my opponent also has company, which is pretty bad. Their hand sounds pretty good. If they want to snap Queller this Teeg, because otherwise they might figure, oh, it doesn't really matter, no big deal. We'll play this tap rather than thin here to save ourselves the maximum number of life points. But this is certainly a risk of keeping a slow hand. Yeah, opponent snap shocks, attacks, and then I imagine they'll just say go. And probably company in response to a Felidar Guardian. Drew another land. Fortunately, we do have another Felidar. So we're still not in that bad of a spot, but it's starting to get bad, especially depending on how this company goes for my opponent. They did immediately find Spell Queller and a Knight of the Reliquary, so best possible, it would seem. So yeah, we're in a lot of trouble now. Things have not gone so well for us, and our opponent's draw has been relatively ideal. I'm not sure there's much else they would have wanted to change. Do they just also have the enchantment? No. Turn a witness, return company. It's pretty good. Not the worst thing that could happen this turn. So maybe we've deviated from best possible now to something less exciting, since they certainly could have had the enchantment and just murdered me. So that's good at least. Kind of surprised they want to attack with Knight here, but I guess they don't really have anything to do with the mana. They still have a lot of cards as well. So I'm near dead next turn. We're going to play this tapped, play Felidar Guardian. I guess we'll blink the Oath first. Hopefully my opponent doesn't like also have Path. I wish we had Path as well. That'd be good. That'd be good stuff. Definitely don't want to show them third Saheeli Evolution. So it's either Noble Hierarch or Razorridge Thicket. Paying a life for this Noble Hierarch. What is that? How does that sound? It sounds pretty good, actually. Although our opponent could just use, if they have a red source, let's assume they have a red source. They like play land. Although, did they just miss their land drop? No, I'm on the play, so turn 5. Yeah, so they missed their turn 4 land drop. Okay. But let's assume they draw a red source. They can, or have Kessig, then they can play that, activate Knight. They still don't get to Kessig for very much at all. So it might actually be worth fetching to play this Hierarch. It might save me more life points, unless my opponent is just killing me in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, basically 6, 3. So they could actually Kessig for 3, yeah, right? If they had a land and activate Knight, they have basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, if I'm including like the Kessig itself, and then it costs Kessig tap, green, red, and then the X would be 3. So yeah, I guess I actually can't play the Noble Irek here. I could just die to the air if my opponent had a red producing land or Kessig. We'll still grab it, but instead we'll play Temple Garden tapped. Does also have path. Okay. Yeah, well, we got smashed this game. There was just no way we were winning this one, apparently. All right, well, we'll see you in round 3.